I know it's a whole trend right now to make fun of consumerism and overconsumption, but that shit genuinely pisses me the fuck off.
America has an overconsumption problem when you have people fighting over, grown adults, by the way, fighting over a damn teddy bear cup.
Americans are a bunch of hoarders. We are. We overconsume everything. That's why we're fat.
What do you mean that grown women are waiting in line for 2 hours in the morning to go buy a Starbucks teddy bear cup?
You want to know how I know we have an overconsumption problem, more specifically here in the United States? When people get so triggered when you talk about decluttering and keeping things minimal. More specifically, when I'm talking about kids' toys. The point about living more intentionally is not to get rid of everything and not ever buy anything, but to be more intentional as to what we bring in. In other words, we don't let the sales tell us what we need. We take control over our own budget and our own wallet, our own money, and we are smart on how we're spending the money. This is one of the reasons why in the United States there's so much credit card debt, because we glamorize overconsumption. There's a difference between consuming a normal consumption and then overconsumption.
You know, America has an overconsumption problem when you have people fighting over, grown adults, by the way, fighting over a damn teddy bear cup. That's probably going to be on Temu and Shein within the next few months. I saw so many of them on Amazon, just without the label. Find someone with a Cricut and they can print out a sticker for you and just put it on the damn cup. And there you go, you have your own Starbucks cup. It's not that cute. It doesn't fit in the cup holder. There are people who don't know when their next paycheck is coming in. There are people that don't know where they're gonna get their next meal from, where they're going to feed their kids from, and y'all are worried about a damn cup. It's over-consumerism, greed. I saw a video of someone with 4 and 5, I think it was like 5 cups on a counter or something, and she was gonna buy them all. Leave some for the people behind you. So many other ways you can use your time. I saw someone on here show up outside of Target at 2 a.m. Starbucks opens at 4:30. Your priorities are so fucked. Those of y'all that are mad at the employees for taking the cup, that's the perks of working at Starbucks. I think the employees should be the ones to get the cup first before the customer. And the resellers selling those damn cups for $300, $400, the epitome of greed.
So I went to the mall today to go switch out a pair of Crocs that my wife got for me because they were too small. And I'm walking through the mall to get to the Crocs store. You know, I see these other different places such as Foot Locker, Journeys, jewelry stores, the Crocs. And when I got to the Crocs, by the time I walked out the mall, it started to hit me real hard that all of this shit is just nothing but consuming. It's like America raised us on being consumers. Teaching us that we have to spend our money every time we get it. There's over 100 places in the mall to spend your money, and you worked all week or 2 weeks for it. And I'm like, I'm really bust my ass all these years for garbage. Like, how much does it cost to make a Croc versus how much I paid for?
How many of you have gotten to the point in life where you just don't want to buy stuff anymore? Sometimes I feel like going shopping just like because I have an itch to shop, and there's not one thing that I end up buying. Like, I just have so much. I feel like I've overconsumed my whole life. I grew up with a mom that loves to shop, so I also love to shop. But I've gotten to the point now where it doesn't bring me joy or happiness anymore. I get so overwhelmed with everything that I have in my house already. So like, I just stopped liking to shop, liking to buy things. For a few years I was like into like the farmhouse chic stuff in my house, and there was just a lot of stuff all over, and one day I woke up and I was like, I cannot handle this anymore. Took everything down. My house is like super minimalist now. I have a basement full of crap that I need to go through, and sometimes I just, for like a stress reliever, want to go shopping, and I just get so sad that there's literally nothing that I want to buy anymore. And I'm wondering if that has to do with getting older. I just don't want stuff anymore, or I'm no longer like wanting to keep up with the Joneses. I want to know how everybody else is feeling. If you're in your 40s, have you gotten to that point yet?
What do you mean that grown women are waiting in line for 2 hours in the morning to go buy a Starbucks teddy bear cup at 8 in the morning? Our overconsumerism in America is so embarrassing. Like, why are grown women fighting over a cup? Why do you even want the cup? Why do you even want the cup? What are you gonna do with a teddy bear cup, first of all? These are grown women fighting over who gets a cup. And people standing in line for hours to wait in line to buy a cup. Like, out of all of the things that you could be doing with your time, out of all the things that you could be buying, essentially, it's that? Like, our overconsumerism here is...
Y'all, shopping is not a hobby. So I was talking to a friend that lives in Spain, and she said something that like really got me thinking, because she said one of the biggest changes since she left the US a few years ago was how much less she shops. She was like, all of this online shopping is not a thing. There's no like same day delivery. You just don't have that expectation. You actually go out, you go to a store when you want something. And so she was like, I think about shopping less. I'm paying less attention to like the stuff I need. I'm not paying attention to like influencers. She also said her social media feeds don't seem to have as much of that content. I guess because people aren't advertising in the same ways in Europe as they are in the US. Because in the US, when I'm on social media, when I'm in my email, everything is like messaging about what I need to be buying. And she also had to pare down a lot when she moved because she couldn't take it all overseas. And she was like, I have not replaced the vast majority of what I left behind. I think in the US, most of us don't even realize that we're actually like very addicted to that act of shopping. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I'm constantly just putting stuff into carts online or making like wish lists that I'm going to go back to. And so I feel like we're constantly thinking about shopping and about buying things. And I actually asked ChatGPT like how many items people should have if they don't want to be an overconsumer, but they do want to have enough and have some variety. And the answer over the course of a year is about 25 to 30 tops, about 10 to 15 bottoms, which I know I have a lot more than this. 5 to 8 dresses, 8 to 10 sort of pieces of outerwear, 8 to 10 shoes, 10 to 15 like accessories, bags, scarves, everything, and 10 to 15 pieces of active and loungewear, which I'm like, I probably have 5 times this because I live in athleisure. Ask the same about like skincare and makeup, and it's like you should have probably 6 to 8 like daily skincare items, 3 to 5 things that are like specific treatments, and maybe 10 to 25 pieces of makeup. I definitely have significantly more than all of this, but even when I was at a point in my life where I was like living paycheck to paycheck, fresh out of college, I still feel like I actually probably had more than that. I feel like the stuff that we've kind of like normalized in the US around how much stuff people should have is actually very abnormal compared to the rest of the world. It's just a very good reminder for me that we have normalized overconsumption in the US, but the rest of the world does not live like this. They don't have the amount of stuff that we have. They're not thinking about buying things and shopping in the same way that we are, and that is probably a much healthier way to live.
It's not normal to consume as much as we do in America. You really don't need to have multiples of everything. One of everything is fine. One of the things about TikTok that has happened a lot in the last couple of years is showing a lot of overconsumption, shopping hauls, people having things in their homes and then us comparing our homes, when in reality, it's just not necessary. Going and having your drawers filled to the brim with extras after you're running out of something is not normal. You can use something until it runs out completely. Candles, products, I mean anything, you don't need multiple. It's gonna help a lot with saving and a ton with budgeting. And I know shopping can be a fun hobby, but it's not going to help you reach your goals, and you're only gonna end up spending money that you wouldn't normally spend, but you're being influenced by these influencers. Let's try de-influencing each other this year because there's a lot of money to save. If you're planning on buying new clothes for the summer season coming up, your clothes last year will work just fine, I promise. Save your money.
I know it's a whole trend right now to make fun of consumerism and overconsumption, but that shit genuinely pisses me the fuck off. There are real life people on this earth who buy Dubai chocolate bars and Labubu dolls while listening to Moonbeam Ice Cream by Benson Boone and fucking watching Love Island. These motherfuckers are so easily advertised to, and every single fucking time one of these new consumerist products comes out, they always fucking buy that shit. I swear to God, that whole like Visco Girl era back in like 2020 is what started this whole like overconsumption consumer culture bullshit. That is when brands found out how easily they could advertise their products simply by following trends. How you have companies trying to appeal to the masses through trends and memes. Companies like fucking Duolingo, Slim Jim, hell, even fucking Nutter Butter at one point. point. These are all companies that use trends and memes to advertise to regular people. Consumer culture used to just affect the things that we buy. But now, in the year 2025, consumer culture affects just about fucking everything we do. Consumer culture is basically American culture at this fucking point. Every single fucking day, I feel like I'm being advertised to, and I can't get these fucking advertisements out of my face. And it's all consumer culture's fault, bro. If it weren't for consumer culture, we wouldn't have advertisements fucking ever.
I just read this crazy article on the Wall Street Journal called "Will Trump's Trade War Break America's Addiction to Cheap Stuff?" And in it, we follow Kay Washburn, who in the 1950s was a teenage girl who spent 50 hours babysitting so that she could purchase one dress that she then wore for years until it literally fell apart. Now, at 89 years old, Kay tells the Wall Street Journal that her most recent purchase was a $5.95 pair of pants that she bought from Shein with one tap. She said she did so without thinking and that her plan was to just wear it for one single season. This is the perfect example of how our relationship to stuff has changed so much over the last several decades. Where we used to pause and save and purchase with intentionality, we now purchase without any type of friction and without any real thought to what we're doing. Americans now wear each article of clothing an average of 7 times before throwing it away. And we're on track to purchase 40% more clothing than we did in 2005. Americans are making hundreds of purchases off of Amazon without any real inclination towards how much that's draining their paycheck. And this wasn't an accident. The US spent decades shifting from makers to buyers. Ads literally told people that buying more was patriotic. Then companies started offshoring all of their production to make everything super cheap. And now, one tap and we get a very cheap and easy dopamine hit. But here's the interesting part. With the rise in tariffs, things are more expensive and hauls are not hitting like they used to. Even influencers are shifting to creating content around the clothes they already own, building capsule wardrobes, and participating in things like Project Pan. And honestly, this is the first time in decades that we've had a chance to reconsider how we purchase things. Not in a never buy anything again kind of way, but in a purchasing with intention and with a curation mindset. Buying fewer, better things, actually enjoying the things that we purchase and that we own. Less impulse, more into
shit that mom influencers could never convince me to buy. Postpartum bedside cart. I was seeing this all over my For You page when I was pregnant and I was convinced I needed it, but I didn't end up getting it. Maybe this would be useful if you had a C-section or were exclusively pumping, which weren't things that I've experienced. Overall, I feel like a lot of these things will just go untouched in the cart, and it's another thing that would just take up space and get in my way and irritate me. I think having a caddy that goes on top of a nightstand is more than enough for you to keep everything that you need by you. Next, we have a baby food maker. I get the appeal, but after watching a few videos of it, I don't think it saves you any extra time. You can make baby food by boiling or steaming it in a pot and blending it in a blender that you already have. This is just another kitchen gadget that's gonna sit on your counter and take up space. If these items work for you and you love them, that's totally okay. If you've been on the fence about something and not sure if you want to buy it, I hope that this helps. I can make so many of these videos, so let me know if you want a part 2. Comment if there's anything you want me to de-influence you from.
I just got back home a few days ago after traveling Latin America for 6 months, really traveling for the past 4 years, and it's crazy how easily your mindset can just slip back into the old ways. I'm driving, sitting in traffic, like, damn, I fucking hate driving. Like, you know what would make this better? If I had a brand new Mercedes with brown leather seats. Past years that I've traveled, I've always thought, like, fuck having a car. If I was ever gonna get a car, like, I would just get, like, a shitty car because cars are such a waste of money. Hitting up my friends, like, what is there to do? Like, go out and spend money eating. No going to the beach, no, like, laying outside in the tropical weather. I see why people are complaining about money and, like, saying that they don't have money to travel. Because it's all these little things that add up in your daily life that costs money to try to bring you this sense of happiness. Let me go eat this like $100 dinner at this restaurant. Let me go buy this thing. Let me go out and get drinks and get high so you can feel something, like feel a sense of joy from this life, this reality. Also, I learned that a dozen egg is $8. That's fucked.
As a French girl living in New York, I recently came across a TikTok of a girl. She was crying because her card got declined at the lash salon. She's complaining because she was working in fashion and her salary was really low. I felt super bad for her, don't get me wrong, but in my head I was just like, if you don't have money, if you have a low salary, low income, why would you go to the lash extension salon or whatever it is? I'm a little bit confused why people consume while they don't have the lifestyle kind of. This is something that is really weird to me. Like, if I don't have the money, I'm not going to go for like things that I don't necessarily need. Lash, whatever, nails. I would not go there. I would just make sure that I can survive, that I have everything that I need, like a roof over my head, first necessity things. In France, if you don't have money, you just don't buy products that you don't need. And I think it's like in the US, it's different because of the credit system maybe. So people spend the money that they don't have, like live on credit card debt, which is something that we don't have in France. So that's why we don't understand the overconsumption here in the US.
Americans are a bunch of hoarders. We are. We overconsume everything. That's why we're fat. Everybody's obese. And this is why. We had a snowstorm in Atlanta. One day, Friday, that was it, okay? Saturday, everything was back to normal. And let me tell you guys, the grocery stores are empty, okay? They cleaned out every single shelf, everything. I'm like, what are y'all gonna do? What will y'all do in real emergency? Seriously, I don't think we're cut out for this.
We are 5% of the world's population, yet we consume 90% of the world's pain medication. What does that say about us? Why are we so over-medicated as a society? Why do we consume 20 times more medication per capita than every other developed country in the world? Is this normal to you guys?
Overconsumption has been rebranded as cute and organized in American society, and it is causing you so much unnecessary financial stress. It's only a recent phenomenon that you can buy yourself a matching outfit from head to toe for only $20, or that you can get an entire refrigerator's worth of organization stuff delivered to your front door in 24 hours or less. The total cost of the items in this fridge organization video is well over $250, and that doesn't even account for all of the expensive single packaged items. Something about decanting all of the food you just bought from its original packaging into new packaging in the name of organization and sanitization seems really unhinged. Meanwhile, Americans have over $1 trillion of credit card debt, and 2/3 of Americans who earn over $250,000 are self-reporting that they're living paycheck to paycheck. Amazon reported profits of $30 billion last year. Temu came in at over $8 billion. Just because we can buy things doesn't mean that we need to or that we should. All of this shit is going to be in a landfill before you even know it. Stop solving problems that don't exist.
I'm gonna come off as crazy for this one. I'm sorry, that's kind of where I'm at. Every time I walk into Home Depot, I see this, and it's framed as this glamorous, idealized next progressive step of tech consumption for the American family. And it makes me sick and scared. Now, I'm biased. I'm Greek. I was raised that way. The kitchen was always the center of the family. I was raised to bond with my community over cooking. I mean, it was almost ritualistic. It was us collectively preparing sustenance together, a fundamental human need. It was very symbolic in a way. And devil's advocate, I do think that there is a ritual around creating and consuming food. It makes us in touch with the animal that we are. We're never beyond that. So for a group of people like a family to be doing this together, it's not just about eating. It's about trust. It's about connection. It's about vulnerability. It's about forging a bond. And I'm not just saying this as me. This is depicted in literature everywhere. Having said that, the structure of the American household has slowly been changing to replace these pillars of human connection with instead vessels of consumption. I mean, back in the 70s and 80s, family rooms, living rooms, the purpose of the room literally put in the name, to be with your family, to live together. They used to be centered around things like conversation pits. These spaces with the sole purpose of getting together, exercising your communication to feel closer to each other. And now, fast forward 40 years, these rooms are often centered around the TV instead. When the design of your family room places the TV as the centerpiece, it indicates that that room isn't there for the sole purpose of talking or communicating. It's there for the purpose of consuming. And okay, I can accept that maybe it's just a change in our culture to allow space for technology that we consume together. Okay, fine. Why is the TV now expanding to other rooms? The bedroom, a place meant for sleeping, to the kitchen, a place meant for cooking. I'm not trying to get too philosophical, I'm sorry, but there is something to be said for the compartmentalization of spaces for specifically designated tasks or purposes. And when you have the continuity of all of those spaces being the TV, being the tangible proof of our consumption, that's very reflective of the culture we're in. And now the TV on the fridge is how you're getting your kids in the kitchen with you. They're in there with you, but not to cook, not to eat with you, but to watch. Maybe I was raised in a really weird, antiquated way, but the TV being the icon, being treated as like an altar of the American household is really scary to me, because that tells me that we are encouraging media consumption and thus large advertisers to become an institutional part of our culture. But that's something you want to sculpt your kids instead of connective communal practices. I understand that it was probably born out of convenience to keep the kids quiet, but dude, I mean, like, come on, bro.
Here's yet another example of someone manipulating and fear-mongering their parents into making changes that don't actually make any difference in their health.
Here's what I got my seed oil loving boomer parents for Christmas.
And nothing says I love my parents like, look at these stupid old farts, let me help them out.
Hey Dad, here's some potato chips. Oh, you like barbecue? Yeah, I know you like barbecue. But see, what's different about these chips is they're made in 100% avocado oil. You see, the chips that you usually buy and eat, those are made in what are called seed oils. And seed oils are highly inflammatory to humans. And this inflammation causes autoimmune disorders. Autoimmune disorders are things like arthritis. You say your hands are feeling a little stiff, might want to try some avocado oil instead of some seed oils.
He then goes on to do this with another bag of chips, some deodorant, and some chocolate. So first of all, the worst way to try and help someone change is to take the choice out of their hands and to give them unsolicited advice. Second of all, do you really think that if someone has a problem with eating too many chips, that swapping out that bag of chips for the same amount of chips cooked in a different oil is going to solve that problem? It's the same amount of calories, the same amount of fat, and if anything, people say these chips taste better with avocado oil or with tallow, which makes you eat more of them. And there's literally zero causative evidence showing that seed oils are going to give you autoimmune conditions, and saying that eating chips is going to cause you to get them is stupid. It's fear-mongering. Seed oils were never the problem. It's the fact that you can sit down and eat 2,000 calories of these chips in 15 minutes, whether they have seed oils or avocado oil. Overeating these foods consistently over time might contribute to being overweight or obese, and guess what that might be associated with? Autoimmune conditions. Sorry that was short, but seriously, ultra-processed foods are ultra-processed, whether they have avocado oil or canola oil or whatever. And eating way too many of them is never going to be good. So why don't we take the focus off of seed oils and instead place it on moderation? Because in America, we have an overconsumption problem, not a seed oil problem.
Americans have an overconsumption problem because Americans are unfulfilled.
I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning to be attacked. I only just re-downloaded TikTok so I could buy something on a doggone TikTok shop. Why does Sage do me like this? I'm gonna still buy it though because I'm filling my American void with cleaning. I'm getting a Chanel duster, but I have been like homemaking. That's what I've been doing with my time, y'all. Don't worry about me. I'm serious. Don't worry about me because I'm about to download this app again right after I get these doggone dusters. Go watch that video though.
One of the most annoying things to me about being a girl is that I constantly want new things, and like clothes or items or skincare, glassware, like anything that I see on the internet or that I see someone in real life having or wearing. And it's so exhausting, and I hate living in this like cycle of overconsumption that is America. Am I gonna do anything about it? Am I gonna stop consuming less content? Probably not. But I just need to start like writing things down that I want and then look back at it a week from now and be like, okay, I don't actually want that. I just saw an aesthetic video of it.
I'm a professional organizer, and hearing Trump say Americans should cut down on gifts isn't wisdom. It's a billionaire normalizing scarcity. Overconsumption is real in the US, and that's a whole problem in itself, but it didn't come from just irresponsibility. It came from a system that trained people to measure love and worth through buying things. Minimalism is powerful when it's a choice. But minimalism, when you have no choice, is just survival. Leaders fail people and then tell them to just buy less, brainwashing them into believing that it is their individual choices that got them there and they are the reasons why they can't provide for their family. Well, that's not minimalism. That's just deprivation dressed up as morality. People deserve a choice and not lectures. So I want you to know this Christmas, or whatever holiday you're celebrating, if the presents are looking scarce and all you can afford is to put a little bit of food on the table for your family, this is not your fault. And you deserve to be able to put food on the table, pay your bills, pay your rent with the job that you have. You deserve dignity to provide for your family.